So hello everyone. Looks like Balaji's stream has frozen a little bit, but no worries. Welcome to the show. This is our third live Qualitist show, and we are very delighted to bring another professional Qualitist to you. This is a special show because we will be bringing one of our very long-standing associates, who's a senior quality professional in his own right. And in a bit, when Balaji is able to solve um, his stream issue, we will bring him back in. So, firstly, thank you for your love. Many of you have been very consistent to the show. I will hand over to Balaji in a minute. But first, quickly, if you are live on the show, please stick on to the end. We have a surprise for you towards the end. You will get a very massive discount from Kimpro as a thank you gesture for attending these shows regularly. So those who stick on to the end will get a discount voucher for a very major program that Kimpro has online. So stay on, and you will get that surprise toward the end. Balaji, over to you.
Yeah, sorry, I think I just got disconnected for a while. So
No
once again,
problem.
good morning and namaste and welcome everybody to this edition of Meet Your Qualitist. We've been doing this for the last 2, 3 months, showcasing our qualitists for the month. We started this entire movement 2 years ago, Quimpro Foundation, Mr. Suresh Lulla, in the footsteps of Dr. Duran. Dr. Duran, of course, pioneer in the field of quality. In fact, I would go ahead and say he's one of the inventors of the field, and if not just a contributor. Among the innumerable books that he wrote and edited, I think one of the best that he did, one of the last ones that he did was a History of Managing for Quality, which was, I believe, released in 1995-96, which he collaborated with authors all over the world, trying to show the evolution of quality in different parts of the world. Just to make a note here, from our country, it was obviously Mr. Suresh Lulla who wrote the section on India. Uh, at the end of the book, over there, in fact, in the preface and in the and just towards the end, Dr. Duran mentions the creation of a new term which describes us as quality professionals, a qualitist. Just recently, I read in one of the magazines somebody had suggested qualicrat in line with technocrat, but obviously it didn't cut any ice with Dr. Duran, and so he came up with qualitist. So Mr. Suresh Lulla, of course, decided to take this forward, this whole thing, and make it a movement in India. And we started issuing the titles based on you could apply for this, and there's a panel of very esteemed members that goes through the entire resumes of people, and then we accord certain levels of qualitist. And of course, the highest is 3, and then there's 2, and there's 1. So anyway, so every month for the last couple of months, we've been interviewing our qualitists. We had uh, Dr. Parag Nindani first, right? And now this month here we have a qualitist for the month, Mr. Shailesh Ghodekar. Now, Mr. Shailesh Ghodekar, of course, been in the quality field for 26 long years, and one of contribution. He started from a conventional quality control and then graduated to consumer quality. Now that's huge. He's, of course, right now global corporate quality head for one of the most respected companies in India, Marico. Now, who doesn't know about Marico? Okay, they're leading multinational in beauty and wellness, and many of their brands like Parachute, of course, Parachute, Safola, Hair and Care, and Revive. Now, throughout his career, he's led in the creation and development of quality systems and processes, not just inside the company, but the entire value chain. And this has resulted in a robust and a quality focused environment at Marico. In fact, his entire focus to drive consumer driven quality has made the brands itself a mark of quality and purity. Throughout his role that he has nurtured, he's built an embedded quality consciousness in the organization, and there have been awarded. In fact, he has been awarded thrice the Indian Merchants Chamber uh, RBNQA, that's Ramakrishna Bajaj National Quality Award Certificate of Excellence, and he's been honored with Innovative Leadership in Quality. In fact, also the other titles he's been included in 50 of the most impactful quality professionals, the best end-to-end customer solution. He's also a certified global performance excellence assessor by the International Asia Pacific Quality Organization. Uh, when you're talking about his life purpose of giving back to society, he's been supporting Cancer Patient Aid Association for the last 11 years, and recently he's been recognized for his contribution by the World Health Organization and Ministry of Health and Affairs in India. So, Namaste, Ghodekar Sahib. It is wonderful to see you here. We are very honored, Anshuman and myself. We've been doing this, and it's been giving us, this privilege of meeting and speaking with people like you. So, without much ado, I think Anshuman, you can take it away. Let's start our conversation with Mr. Ghodekar.
Sure. Before I do that, of course, Mr. Ghodekar, thank you very much for coming on this show. But quick shout out to the audience. Please let us know where you are logging in from. And of course, if you want to have this massive discounted product towards the end of the call, please let us know in the chat window if you would like that or not. Right. So I will leave a small hint. It is one of Kimpro's flagship programs, which is available digitally online and is less than $100. So let me know in the chat window if you wanted that. We will, of course, reach out to you post the program. So, Shailesh, of course, thanks once again. Like Balaji mentioned, we have been trying to do these shows for some time. The objective, of course, is to make sure that the profession of quality sees its heroes in new light, and you are, of course, a shining light for us. So my first question, as we get into the show, and Balaji and I will alternate these questions, is more about you as to how did you get into the field of quality. uh, Quality is not a field that if anybody just walks into. Usually our entry points are different. My entry point, Balaji's entry point, and many others entry points might be different. And it's very fascinating often to hear how people got into quality. Some stumble into quality, some crawl, some run, some jump. So your story first.
Yeah, thank you, Balaji, and thank you, Anshuman, for inviting me on this show. I think after coming out from the college, I got my first interview call with Bombay Oil Industries Limited, which is now Marico Limited right now. And I happened to, and that time I happened to get that inland letter basically from the post, and I went to the basically office to give the interview. And after the series of the basically some questions, okay, I was given a parachute bottle. I was kept in front of me, and basically they asked me, what do you see? Do you see any defects? Do you see anything different in this bottle? And this was the first time I was seeing a bottle, because early 20s, okay, oiling was, I used to never do a oiling, and a parachute bottle was in front of me. I just took the bottle and happened to see that are some of the defects. Okay, I see this is not good, this printing is not good. And after the series of questions, I was selected for the role. And that's where I went into the quality, into Bombay Oil Industries Limited. And my journey basically in this quality field reflects basically an uncommon journey of a growth, basically from a conventional quality control to a consumer quality. And I think throughout this journey, one mantra which I've always followed, okay, was to co-create, involve all your stakeholders, including your business partners, in designing and deploying quality management system. And whatever you do, keep it simple and very easy to understand. I think that was a mantra which I've always followed it. And also, as market dynamics were changing and consumer expectations were evolving, Marico also kept pace with this quality enhancement journey, so as to continuously build the value for our consumers, and so as to have a competitive edge. And my journey reflects, there were three phases which I can relate it. The phase one was in 1990s phase, and that was more on a phase of a inspection quality. And I think the entire objective was to strengthen the basics, because I strongly believe that if your foundation is strong, definitely you have to rest on a good foundation, and then things will build up on that. The second phase was basically the integration of this quality management system. I think that was a second phase. And what we did in Marico basically was we sustained it, the phase one, we sustained it, and then we went to the phase two. And that was where we integrated the entire quality management system. And we designed our own module called as Q-Search and MMAM, that is Marico Excellence Model. And the beauty of the entire thing was basically this entire thing was co-created, and we went to the shop floor. Okay, we went to the shop floor to the workman, because finally the workman has to understand what is the meaning of quality. And as I said, the objective was consumer-driven excellence was to be in our processes. And I think the third phase is a phase where we adopted the business excellence framework, and that was the MBM, the Marico Business Excellence Model. And this was a phase where the focus was more on processes and results and integration of the global standards. And I think throughout the journey, I think one thing was very important, that keeping end consumers in the mind. And today's new norm is invent the future with customers, with consumers. Empower consumers is the future of your strategy. That is what I believe.
Wow.
Thanks a lot, Shailesh. Balaji, over to you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that was wonderful, sir, to see this journey of yours, and the way you explained the phases. I think many of us would have connected with that. When we just began the show, I don't know whether we were listening in, but we're talking about the creation of the term qualitist. Now, we said that this was coined by Dr. Juran, and of course, our very own Dr. Juran in India is Suresh Lula, sir. So when this title was conferred upon, qualitist, what do you think? What crossed your mind, when you were given the title qualitist? What is a qualitist according to you? What are the attributes, and how would a qualitist, make a difference and impact wherever he or she is, okay, and sort of ascertaining this role? What is your view on this word and the attributes that you need to have?
Thanks, Balaji. Balaji, I think very important for me, the qualitist has to be real, relatable. He has to be respectful and responsible. I think that's the basic trait which a qualitist should definitely have. Second most important thing is quality should be driven by the purpose with a clear vision, and that vision should be quality should be an epicenter of a business growth, and I'm talking of a business growth, and shall have a competitive advantage. I think that should be very clearly for a qualitist. Third, I personally believe that quality should have an agile mindset. He should have an agile mindset and have a courage to come out of the comfort zone or bring others out of the comfort zone, challenge the assumptions, and address the problems and opportunity for improvement. I think this is very important. The agile mindset is very important. Fourth, I personally feel that quality should step out of his own function and look issues from the organization perspective. Even though he may not have the expertise in certain areas, okay, he can always question. He can always question, which can spark some new ideas. I think fourth is very important. The quality should always be open and listen to the voice of the stakeholders in the value chain, which includes your customers, and then appropriately design your quality processes if need be. And today's reality is that we are in the state of constant change. We are in a dynamic ecosystem where problems will continue to evolve. And I think quality should continuously adopt to this to resolve these challenges. And I think I believe that what is happening today due to globalization, digitalization, and demographic shifts, future is arriving faster than we think. It is in almost every field. Most of the industries are getting disrupted due to commoditization of information. And I think qualities can play a very important role. He should be an enterprise leader who can both perform and transform an organization.
Wow, I mean, that was huge. I think the first very thing that you mentioned, the metaphysical attributes should be respectful and, it should be a listener. I think that's important because the other things could be skills, that could be acquired, but these are things that you need to have with you. I think that was wonderful, and especially to have that holistic view. I think that's one of the main things you spoke of, right? Wow, that was a lovely answer. Yeah, Anshuman, what do you say?
Sure, no, always, this is, we know, of course, Shailesh very well. So this is what is the benchmark he has set, right? But we are delighted that we can bring his message and his experience to more number of people. And I'm sure there are aspiring qualities in the audience and people who will watch this show later on as well. So this show, of course, is not just for the live audience. By staying on LinkedIn and YouTube, it is later on available to more aspiring qualities as well. So your message is welcome, Shailesh. Thank you very much. The just a little connected to maybe the qualities question, and Balaji did bring up Mr. Lula's reference in this. Uh, just an aside question: how did you happen to kind of come in contact with Kimpro and Mr. Lula, and how did this that story? I mean, that anecdote. I'm sure
Yes,
everybody, all of us have an
everybody has
anecdote.
a story. Everybody has a
So,
story.
what is your story around this?
Yeah, Anshuman. In fact, I think Lula sir, I think, played a very, very important role and Kimpro basically in shaping up Marico quality. And it was in 1990s, and I still remember, I think 1992. Okay, we just approached Lula sir, and that was the time where this Duran quality improvement projects, Lula sir and our team, okay, partnered with this Duran quality improvement projects, and we had a series of quality improvement projects. And I still remember one of the project which was eliminating oil smear on a parachute bottle, and this was a project which was taken along with Lula sir, and that was a huge learning. Okay, as I always believe, listening to Lula sir is always a music. The way he brings new concepts, the way he integrates quality, okay, into your systems and processes. I think that was the journey we started with Lula sir, Kimpro, and we had a series of quality improvement projects. And then later on, it built up with Kimpro. We had a series of training programs from Lula sir, and I think one of the training programs we have is this problem solving tools basically. And I personally owe a lot to Kimpro and Lula sir for shaping up this Marico journey where we are today.
No, thanks, Shailesh. All of us have a lot of gratitude for him, of course. But since you mentioned problem solving, for those who were there on the beginning of the show and will stick around till the end of the show, just a reminder: the problem solving program that Shailesh mentioned that benefited him, the digital version of that is available today and tomorrow for all the people who join the show at a massive discount. Details will be shared later. So do let me know in your comments if you wanted that, and we will of course reach out to you. So with that, I think just a quick tangent, Shailesh. I will take the next question, and we've always wanted to ask, of course, for the industry you are in, quality is actually very, very essential. So, many of Marico's products now are in the food area. All of them are, consumable in some way, starting from oil as well. And so, therefore, the need for quality is actually inbuilt into the product itself. If the product is not of good quality, it can actually harm people as well. And I'm sure, Marico has built this reputation of a very quality conscious company because its product have consistently met these standards. But a little deep dive into, and you did reference a little bit in your opening comments, but a little reference into a deeper dive into how does Marico keep improving its standards. So one thing about quality is that it is not static. It's what is today is not going to remain the quality level tomorrow or next year, right? So what is, or how does Marico keep its standards current and always improving? So if you can share that a little bit.
Yeah, Anshuman, rightly what you said. I think at the end of the day, what matters to the consumer is the experience which the customer gets or the consumer gets it. And I always believe that an organization exists with a business ecosystem. And this ecosystem is partners, suppliers, your customers. So it is very important that you bring in synergy with all and ensure that the quality systems and processes are designed and deployed across the value chain. I think that's the first fundamental. And it is very important. It is designed and deployed across this value chain. I think that's the starting point. The second is I firmly believe this customer focus excellence, because finally our consumers are the ultimate judge of our performance and the quality of our product and services. Consumers form opinion on the quality of the product and services which they get it, and this is dynamic. One opinion, okay, one bad experience or two bad experience, they will just shift. They will not bother to look at your brand. So I think it is very important that you build quality in design. And I firmly believe that building quality in design is by integrating this consumer voice. Unless you reach to the consumers, unless you understand what is the feedback, okay, I think you will not be able to integrate. Just to give an example, in Marico, we have taken an initiative which is called as a Dawn to Ducks initiative. Basically, we go to the consumers, we see, okay, from the morning to evening, what they do it, okay, how they cook it, how they prepare the breakfast, what they eat in the breakfast, what they eat, how they fry the oil, and all of things. I think this basic reaching to the consumers, observing the behavior, I think gives a lot of insights. And that's why I think consumer focus excellence is very important. I think the third thing which we continuously kept improving the standard is we continuously do external benchmarking to get an outside in perspective. Now, benchmark is not only related to your industry, but we do also non-related industry. We may be doing right, or we may have the expertise in that area. However, it is very important to validate our own system vis-a-vis others. Example, today we have around 30 plus RBNQ train assessors who are getting an opportunity to assess various industries, right from your business to education to health. And the value which they bring back to the organization is phenomenal. We have a process in place where after everyone goes to this industry, they bring back the best or the next practices, and then there are champions who take it ahead and integrate into a system. We also do a tie-up with experts, universities, and other bodies on certain improvement projects. I think one thing which I'd like to mention is we have created platforms and forums such as Callversity, so as to continuously keep learning and build competencies for the future. And this has helped a lot. The experts talk about their knowledge, share their knowledge. There are questions, there are action plans which are made. I think fifth is have a process where you continuously integrate your learnings and feedback back into this. And this is Marico always has been doing this. And last but not the least, I firmly believe technology intervention helps to democratize systems, processes, data, and decision making. I think that's one of the fundamental things which we should definitely do it. One thing which I have to say that, and I strongly personally believe it, you can't do today's job with yesterday's method and be in business tomorrow. So change and evolve, and that's the mantra which we follow.
I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's almost like, and this is the value of experience, Balaji, that when we speak to people who have actually done it, it all comes out in a very simple, fluid
you see what he said at the end? I mean, you can't expect yesterday's, methods for today's problems to survive tomorrow. I mean, wow. We went across all the dimensions of time. Amazing.
So Balaji, before you get into the next question, I just want to acknowledge, Debashish, who's in the audience.
Yeah.
Debashish has taken time. He's one of India's globally leading quality professionals today, and an ex-colleague of Shailesh. So thank you, Debashish, for taking time to encourage your colleague and be on his show. Debashish, of course, many of you may know, is India's only and first Crosby medal winner from ASQ, and of course many other previous awards and recognitions globally as well, and has a new book coming out very recently. So keep watching this space. You will know more. Uh,
Wow.
yeah,
There
Balaji,
were,
back to you.
yeah. No, there were a few other messages also just flashed across. I was just seeing some names,
Yeah.
and of course, Devashish was among the first that came in. So thank you all for your lovely notes that you all are sending in. It gives us a fillip. Wow, Ghodekar Saab, listening to you is just wonderful. The last 10 years, I can tell you, 10, no, now how many? Now it's, yeah, almost 10 to 12 years that, been serving as an examiner and a judge at Qualitech Awards. And let me tell you, I was never disappointed with, Marico's presentations, Marico. Whether you win the award or no, that's not the point. There's always something to look on to. We always look up to, and we love to watch the innovations and the inventions, and of course the improvement. And always Suresh Lula sir keeps saying, left brain, right brain, and I think Marico fills
Yeah.
in beautifully. And listening to you right now, I just this thought crossed my mind. That suppose right now you've gone through all this last 26 years, but looking back, I know you don't want to look back, but suppose you were to start your career all over again, would you do anything differently, or what would you do differently? Was there any event or epoch-making thing that you would define, which you would like to mention, which changed, or you would have done something differently? Anything that you can think of?
Yeah, I think Balaji, I think one thing is very important. If I reflect back, and I think base, I want to share some of my experience, some of my learnings as I reflect back, and some of the learnings to the youngsters also who are becoming a quality professionals. I think the biggest thing, and I will revolve around a mindset, okay, change. I think first is it's something. Don't be reactive, thinking that what is the problem and what is the solution. Don't think that. Instead of that, be creative. When I mean creative, what are the possibilities and the bigger purpose? I think that's the first part. I think is very very important. Reactive to a creative. The second part, I feel, change the mindset from a fix, that it talks about that I'm not great at this, I will avoid the challenges, to a growth mindset. Okay, and that's what is a growth mindset. It is all about I will learn from the mistakes to gain new skills and will not repeat the same mistakes again. So very very important, from a fixed to a growth mindset. uh, I think third thing which I personally believe a lot in this is from an expert mindset. Yes, I know already this, I know I have all the answers for this, to shift from an expert mindset to a curious mindset, to a child mindset. What is a child? He is very curious. He asks many questions. So it's a curious mindset. I will have a lot of questions, and this is where your learning will happen. Okay, this will help you to learn more. I think fourth, personally, I also believe strongly is a protective mindset. Okay, that is something which it's like I need to stop something from happening. That's given. I think look for an opportunity. From a protective mindset, look for an opportunity. I could make something great happen. I think that's very important. And one mindset which always we have in an organization is that interaction with consumers is only R&D and marketing. No, that's not. Change. One should continuously and personally interact with your consumers. I think that will give a tremendous value, okay, to your process. And I think I always believe that okay, in an organization, you should have a owner's mindset and not a tenant's mindset. Think you are an owner of an organization, you're an owner of a company, you're not a tenant of the company. The moment you make these changes in your mindset, I think things will be different. And I was listening to Gary Custon the other day. He was in one of our sales conference, basically. I think he said wonderfully some words. During the World Cup, okay, Indians were wearing the jersey. And what the change did he use it? He put basically the India thing first and the name back. And what he said basically, that India comes first and then you are there. The similar way, if you have to relate to organization comes first. okay, and then you. That's some message which I reflect back and I want to give to the new quality professionals.
Wow. I mean, when I heard you just say that you should be curious and like a child, I remember one of the I think I saw in one of the videos, this famous, of course, along with Dr. Duran, W. Edwards Deming, who said something like that he never gave any excuses for learning. He said, "May I not learn?" And he never gave any. He was an unabashed, learner. He said that, what I learned in the last 4 days of my life, I've not learned in the last 40 years of my life. So that learning thing, I think, was fantastic that you spoke of, and of course. When you said here that the mindset, has to change, and we need to consider ourselves as a part of the greater whole. And I'm very, very sure that, the processes and the systems that you have in Marico, because I've seen when your employees come and, make their presentations, it's not that they're, because nowadays we've done it very crisp. If, we changed our format, right? In 5 minutes, you have to come and present. And I've seen that they are they're not rattling off something, they're doing it from the heart. And so they can bring out what exactly they're trying to tell us, that this is how we perform our work at Quimpro. And by the way, we are getting the award or something like this. It's never that they're doing it for the award. So that's amazing. Yeah, Anshuman, I mean, I don't know, I'm a little mesmerized by what he said.
Always. So while I do that, I just quickly, Ganeshan, has a comment around you, Shailesh. So Ganeshan Nagraj says that I could imagine the success of Marico and the quality journey now, insightful and actionable. Thank Ganeshan for your comment. So and keep watching. Just a quick reminder to all those who are live, quite a few both on LinkedIn and YouTube, and a few on Twitter as well. We are live, open to live questions. You can post your questions in or send it them to me. I will curate the questions in about 5 to 10 minutes from now, so that we can quiz Shailesh's mind on his thoughts on quality. But moving on from, and something in the last 5 minutes, as you said, and Balaji, you also highlighted this need for learning, and it almost indicates new skills. And like every profession, quality profession has also changed and should change. All there is, Shailesh mentioned earlier, the influx of technology into quality, and many similar things. So what I just wanted to ask maybe is that, from where you see quality, Shailesh, and everybody's vantage point is different, but this is about your vision, and you lead quality for a large global, you know, enterprise. What are the new skills that a quality professional should aspire to learn? And if, of course, there are some reinforcement skills that they always knew but need to revise, that's also welcome. But the question is around, what should today's quality professional, young, middle, old, old or senior, what should we aspire to learn? In your words.
Anshuman, I think one thing comes out very clearly as quality has evolved. I think one should master the art of taking intelligent risks. And for I think what is intelligent risks is all about opportunities for which the potential gain outweighs the potential harm or the loss to the basically organization. So you should develop that wisdom through continuous learning, building up your capability in that area, and have a complete know-how of the subject. I think master the art of taking intelligent risks. That's one part. I think second, I personally believe is smart is a new norm. So integration of technology in a quality management system. So learn new technologies like AI, IoTs, virtual reality, augmented reality, and see where these technologies can be applied and integrated. I believe that gone are the days of defect identification. Even gone are the days of defect prevention. Today, it is a world of defect prediction. And I think this new technologies can be a great enabler in QMS. The third thing, I think today, many of the companies which I see, more or less, they are spend time in handling complaints, reworking, and so on. I feel that the solution to this is lean consumption. And what is this lean consumption? I think it's a lean consumption is a process where your customer spends time, okay, but don't get the value. Just revamp your operations to eliminate this spend time. And just to give an analogy, just relate to lean consumption. I have personally experienced this. I've been regularly doing my servicing of my car, and it all starts off calling the service center, taking appointment, taking a car to the service center. Then you have to wait for the executive to come, and you will fill the form. He'll inspect your car, then he will note down all the faults, services to be done. Again, fill the form. Post, then he will call you the next day to pick up your car. He will suggest to do a test run. Again, fill the form, then move to the billing, wait in the line, okay, and then go to the security gate to get the gate pass, and then finally you drive down the car. Just look into this entire process. As a customer, okay, I've realized there are certain steps which are not value adding to me. I've wasted my time. So I think it is very important if the organization realizes this, okay, if they can eliminate certain steps, if they can merge something, okay, it will be a different experience to the customer. Because it's all about, I think, organizations to give the customers what they want, where they want it, and when they want it. I think that's the biggest step which we should take it.
No, very well said. I think something you said, Shailesh, I can relate to my industry. I'm these days I'm in the IT industry, and we've uh, we've seen this move to prediction for some years now. Customers are not interested in the fact that, oh, my network went down, my server went down, my system went down, and you repaired it in 2 minutes, right, remotely, which was a delight factor 10 years ago, that, oh, my network, my ATM network went down, my something network went down. Today, many networks have a need for 100% uptime. They cannot go down because they are supporting airlines, ATMs, and so many other things. So there is no concept of Six Sigma downtime for them. They just have zero downtime expectation. So in that case, whatever you do in terms of bringing the network back and in time is a few seconds more than what was expected, and what is expected is zero. So the only way is to predict the failures. Data test centers today, many people in the audience and you all, I'm sure, aren't aware that a lot of what we do is sitting on the cloud, including this live session that is happening is actually being managed through a cloud. What if that cloud data center goes down for 5 seconds during the live stream? The live stream disrupted, and nobody would know, right? So there are now methods to predict, and that is the new quality. That, okay, this data center has a problem. Preventive maintenance has indicated that these areas could be down. Very popular example, Netflix does something called Chaos Monkey, which is a very IT term for creating disruption in your servers to take something down. You are actually taking something down and then seeing what happens. So these are technologies, or these are methods available in other industries today, and I often see that what you were saying was exactly the same thing, but in a completely different industry. So the wisdom is not very isolated. The connections are possibly difficult. But so moving on very quickly, I think Balaji, before we go to, I think towards the next question, if you permit, I will take an audience question just to break the pattern. And
Yeah,
audience question from Debashish. His question is, of course, towards the question is, as a leader, what have you unlearned over the years? So, Shailesh, thankfully, this question is only to you, not to Balaji and me. But what have you unlearned over the years?
Yeah, I think a very important. I think, and I think thanks Debashish. Okay, and Debashish, I worked with Debashish basically. I think what I have unlearned is, I think one important thing which very clearly comes out to my mind is, I think you can't take consumers for the granted. Okay, you can't take your end customers for your granted. I think it is something which you design your processes and systems in such a way that at the end of the day only keep basically your consumers in the mind, your customers in the mind. You can't play with them. Okay, whether it is you can't play with their emotions, we can't play with them. I think it is very important. Okay, you think of them always, and something which I always believe that should be in the top of the mind.
Okay. So thank Debashish for your question. Balaji, over to you.
Yeah, about your journey throughout quality, some of the accolades that you have received. One of them was being, on the panel of Ramkrishna Bajaj National Quality Award. So I mean, how enriching has that been? Because, there you get to look at other industries also. Has there been, you always looked at, you just said you believe in external benchmarking. So has there been any such instance wherein, across industry you learned something specific, or, something that you would have never imagined if were you only restricted to, doing things in your kind of industry? Was there any such experience that you had? And if so, what was the learning?
I think one thing which, as I said to you, RBNQ SLA, basically, as we go and assess a lot of other companies, okay, I think related and non-related is very important. And what we also, some of them had visited opportunity to visit the healthcare industry and education industry. I think one thing we learned is something which is the perfection and the meticulous data management. Okay, especially in a healthcare industry, how sensitive a healthcare industry is to any infection. Okay, because finally you play with your patients. I think the sensitivity with respect to the infection management protocol which they have it, I think very very important. Okay, when I relate to my end consumers, I think the consumer safety becomes very important. Just a patient safety becomes very important when you go to a hospital. Okay, the same way when we have a FMCG product, when we have a products, okay, it is very important. The product safety plays a very important role, and that is something, the level of detailing which they have, the level of systems and processes which they have. I think that was one of the best practices which we captured it and integrate into the safety. And you always think, okay, what can go wrong, okay, in your product. It's not the simple, okay, making a product, making a formulation. I think there are a lot of nuances which can happen, and what can go wrong in your product from a safety angle is very important.
Yeah, that was, that's what even just now when Arjuman spoke about Netflix, I was reminded of the famous statement by Dr. Juran, we are living behind quality dikes here, you know, and right now it's impacting lives. I mean, when you said that you cross, the cross learning that took place with the medical industry, that's what even Dr. Paragrindani was saying. We quizzed him on the same thing, that when you make a mistake, when people, engineers like Anshuman and myself make a mistake, okay, at the most, with the machine will shut down for some time and we can start it again. But there you can't. You're playing with a life. You can't just. So there's too much at stake. I think that's one of the amazing benchmark that we can look at. The healthcare industry, and the way, and I think the way they responded in this pandemic, and keeping everything aside, and I mean, way we've come back. I mean, of course, touch wood. I hope these things just remain as they are. But it's been phenomenal. How the healthcare industry has really responded. So yeah, I think that was amazing. Yeah, Anshuman.
Yeah. So I think I was scanning the questions, and I'll bring up some
Okay.
interesting ones. And then we'll get into the winding up of the show. Sachin Garg, who's also
Oh,
quite
Sachin is
a
here.
regular
Hi.
participant in our programs. Plus, he, of course, runs his own programs with ASQ. Uh, I think this is more a comment and less a question, Shailesh. But
Right.
thanks, Sachin, from this thing bringing up. I think there is one from Ganesan. Thanks, Sachin, for your comment. Ganesan is asking: Is quality and cost on the race? Why to predict defect if quality standards are well established? Oh, this is ouch kind of a question. I'm sure what Ganesan is trying to say is that if you have a well-established quality standards, why do you need to then get into an additional practice of trying to predict quality failure? So, Shailesh,
Yeah.
your views.
Yeah, in fact, Ganeshan, I think what rightly you said is why to predict defect if quality standards are well established. I think I personally believe that your quality standards, when they are defined or they are established, I think one is the compliance to the standards, okay, the robust compliance to the standards. And that I feel is a hygiene now, okay, that's given, okay. The compliance is given, and any organization has to comply to the quality standards. But it is very important your consumers, your customers are dynamic. Their expectations are ever changing, okay, and getting influenced by the entire environment, okay. They may find out something which you may not be able to find out. So why your customers has to find out first? Why not you as an organization find out, predict that this can go wrong, okay. Finally, if something has to go wrong, your customers, your consumers definitely will find out. So I personally believe, okay, while you have standards established, prediction is very important, okay, because before your customers finds out, before you lose your customer, I think you find out, you just repair it, you just work it out and fix it, and predict that this can go wrong. So finally, your customers get delighted.
Yeah, thanks, Shailesh. Ganesan, some quick comment on the question as well. Almost all standards help you be in the race. They don't help you win the race, right? So
Yeah.
it is extremely important still. And if standards were enough, we would not find anybody down with COVID. We would not find any airplanes going down. We would not find any ATMs going down because there are standards in place. Life happens, and a lot of quality is also about when that happens, how quickly do you respond, and can you prevent, predict, and make sure that this does not happen. That's where most of the quality profession's value is. Otherwise, we can all say that if operations is working perfectly, actually quality profession is not required. If everything was working perfectly, our profession is the first one which is not required, because nothing to maintain, nothing to improve, right? But that's not the case. So I hope I do get the intent of your questions, and thank you for your question, Ganeshan. Hope Shailesh's response was useful. One quick question and we are towards the end of the show, and in the about 5 minutes we'll be winding up. So if you have some last
Oh,
question
okay.
which you have been shy about, please put it in. Shailesh, you can skip this question, but since it came in from a regular visitor, so I thought I'll keep it in. Your views on programming languages, Python, though Tableau is not a language, but uh, in the manufacturing industry. So essentially Python. Tableau is a uh, graphical visualization software. But any use cases or anything that you have seen in your work using Python and related um, stuff?
So, Anshuman, my thing is, I think the future of the quality, as I strongly believe, is digitalization. So, and when I mean by digitalization, all these things helps a self-induced correction. I think that's very important. I think the second part, which I always believe and which Marico always has focused, is shifting a focus from a control, basically from a process operators to a process designers. I think that's very important. And the word process designers are important. And machines are learning basically. So regulate quality and productivity. And then that word, which is very important, is self-regulate quality and productivity. And I think most important element is basically from a human's angle, focus on system design. Basically your system design and integration has to be the basis. So in a nutshell, I think tools like AI, big data, machine learning, blockchain, whatever, data science. I think they are, and enabling technologies are very important, and that's the future of the quality. Okay, that's where I said it's a smart. Okay, we have to move towards the smart working, and quality 4 is all about that only. So the earlier you integrate, the better for your organization. And my suggestion will be basically just understand your processes, and try to filling the gaps, basically understand the gaps where you, and I'm sure this technology will definitely help you in doing this.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Shailesh. One last question, and then we wrap up. Sachin wanted to know anything in terms of how do you handle expectations of internal customers, right? So, of course, a lot of quality focus is on external customers, but we all know that quality is made by internal customers. So, anything on this?
So I think, thanks, Sachin. I think is very important for my internal customers. Okay, you should have platforms for this interactions with these customers. I think, and from a first, it starts with the organization clarity. I think that there should be a complete clarity. Okay, where does what is the vision of the organization? What is the mission of our organization? I think if that is clearly defined, okay, the purpose is clearly defined and it is cascaded at all the levels. I think the internal customers in your value chain has a one common understanding. What's the vision? What's the mission? Having said that, and then you can build up on creating, okay, platforms, forums, okay, to interact with them and understand basically from what they expect and what we deliver. What is the key success metrics for them as they look forward? Okay, and I think that's very important. So the starting point is very important, is that everyone should align to a common goal. Okay, if that is aligned, then the expectation from your internal customers can be very well understood.
Sure, thanks, Shailesh. We will quickly share the the surprise that I shared with or spoke about during the beginning of the show. So during the show, you would have understood that building your skill set, learning new skills, reinforcing old skills, particularly in quality, is extremely important. And if you have to be in positions like Shailesh is, then you have to be a constant learner, regular learner. And these days, one of the best ways to learn is online. Kimpro has come up for last couple of years, has a very fantastic offering called the Digital Problem Solver, which is an online course, and I'll share the discount coupon in a minute. Online course where through multiple formats, and Marico is a user of that as well, and quite a few organizations already use it. And you get videos recorded with Mr. Lula directly, teachings directly from him, his lessons, his instructions, and you go through a case study and learn the basics of how to do a whole problem solving course without the jargon that is normally associated with such course. So I will quickly share that, and if you see on the screen, you will see this is the description. The link is of course there, but you can't click on this link. The course is normally available at 8,000 for today and tomorrow. Anybody who's in this show has registered will have the discount available at 5,000 only, right? So, which is a massive discount, 37.5% if you do the maths. So almost 40% discount. And I hope many of you can use this. So this is exclusively for the participants on the show.
Wow.
I'm sure you
Lucky
can.
people, eh?
Yeah. So I will share the link on the link to access the discount on. This is an exclusive link, so only for you, those who attended. With that, we can come to an end to this session. Fantastic session, Shailesh, as always. A pleasure talking to you. Both Balaji and I enjoyed the conversation.
Absolutely.
And of course, learned a lot from you. And I'm sure many people in the audience, hundreds of people, would have learned from you. And there are quite a few now comments pouring in. Thanks, Praveen, Ganeshan, Raman, Jayanand, Devashish, once again, thanks for your presence, Devashish, and many more comments pouring in. I can't name everybody, but you can rest assured that I do acknowledge on behalf of Kimpro and Balaji, your presence is much valued. Please do attend our future shows. The next show will be in approximately about a month from now, and we'll feature another leading qualitist. With that, on behalf of Kimpro and the entire quality fraternity, I thank Shailesh and my co-host Balaji. See you later. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
Anshuman. Thank you,
Pleasure.
Balaji.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir. Thank you very much.